Alrighty, hello everybody. Welcome to what is supposed to be the finale of our For the Dungeon game. We're still working out some of the tech for distance gaming and remote gaming. I'm going to be looking down a lot because this is where my screen is and that's where the camera is, and I'll sort that out. That's not a high priority on the tech list at the moment, but yeah. So we actually did get a hold of Zoom. So we have a Zoom account that we're going to use instead of Discord moving forward. I just didn't have time to fiddle with it this week. So hopefully nobody shifts around. I am going to leave the name tags on, and hopefully that works and names stay where they should. And yeah. Um, do we have audio? Sounds like we do. One person studio again, so I'm trying to juggle everything, folks. Sorry for the split attention. We are a little behind because of my tech stuff, so we'll get right into it after some short announcements. Not a lot new on the Mythical Family front. In a couple of weeks, we are attending the Meeple Peak board game convention. We will be, as a group, hosting at least 3 games there. And we have the folks putting on the convention have actually graciously set aside 2 of the tables for us to have our own presence and host our games there, so we're not shuffling about and we can organize a little better and sort of have a Mythical Family presence in a set spot there, which was very, very kind of them. We're not setting up to be any kind of exhibitor or vendor or anything like that. They're just giving us a set space so we can coordinate, and that's very kind of them. The folks that run that convention are very nice, very responsive to emails and everything, and they're trying really hard to get this event of theirs off the ground. This is only the second year it's been live, so anybody in the Reno area, I recommend checking it out, supporting your local gaming community, even if board games aren't your thing. Supporting the community at all does nothing but help the gaming community of your area as a whole. So we recommend supporting things like this whenever you can. We may have some more events that will be going on, but as of right now, we're going to do an AMA type table just to discuss role playing with folks that may have heard some of the wrong things about it or have been curious about it but don't really know who to ask, or haven't had a chance to be exposed to it, just to sort of talk to people about the hobby, because tabletop role playing games is the part of the gaming hobby that I really enjoy. So I'm going to have a little window where some of us will be sitting around and fielding questions from folks and seeing whether or not there's any engagement on that, and whether or not we can help people discover something new and fun, a hobby that I personally love quite a bit. We will be running a 1-page role playing game. It's a fairly silly game. It's out of a 1-page compendium called Unkind. Jillian, who's in our game tonight, will be running, will be hosting that game and running that game. And it's adolescent ravens causing trouble and fighting their as they do their shenanigans. One of the things that builds up in them is maturity, and that's what they don't want. Because once they become mature, then the shenanigans stop. So it's about having fun and resisting maturity. So it should be a lot of fun. And then later in the afternoon, I'm going to run. Well, I'm going to host. It's not really a game. It's a solo journaling game. So it's people will be drawing cards and rolling dice and getting prompts for things. And the setting is the lighthouse at the edge of the universe, and it's journal entries from the keeper of the lighthouse at the edge of the universe. They have to keep the lighthouse lit so that no creatures or spacefarers or anybody else end up on the rough edge of the universe and crash on where existence ends. So just little things to engage the community and be involved in what's going on. We uh, if there were more role playing present, we would probably bring a little more of that to the table, but that's not really what that environment is yet. There are a couple of other role playing games being run, so it's not like it's absent. But a lot of the crowd there isn't really going to. It's not going to be the same as like what we have at RageCon. So we're bringing what we think would be appropriate there and supporting it supporting it by our presence and doing what we can for it. Work continues on the other studio. We had some really crappy weather the past week or so, and it has slowed some things down. It just makes it difficult to get there, and it's really rough to want to do concrete work when it's 14 degrees outside and snowing. So, um, however, we should be getting into our new space soon. I don't know what the transition is going to look like, which is why I keep bringing it up. So, once we're ready to move in, we don't have a lot of redundant equipment here. So, once we start tearing down our setup here, we will actually sort of be offline until everything is over there and everything is set up. So, I don't I haven't thought of any way to prevent that from happening, but we may disappear for a week or two, but we will be back. We're not going anywhere. With us tonight, we've got some of the same folks. We've got Jillian, who was Godo from the first game, um, and Ryan, who is also one of our regular Mythical Family folks. We have Frosty, who runs their own channel, Andromeda Adventures, and is we're putting together a collaboration game for. I'll just tell them it's Star Trek. I think I mentioned it last week. We're a couple of Mythical Family folks are running a collaboration to be involved in that game. We're still a little bit out from putting it up live, but we're working on getting everything put together, and that'll be a regular running game once we kick it off. And last but not least, we have James here, who is a Reno local with us that we met through local channels, and is actually the author of a game called Blood, Sweat, and Steel that I had the opportunity to demo. And it's a very fun game. It's sword and sorcery kind of setting, so it's very Conan and not high fantasy. It's sword and sorcery is its own defined genre. This game caters into that, and the system, the way it has been managed, is very cool for what it's a very cool system to play. It's fun, and it takes a lot of the emphasis off of the slugfest of a hit point system. You know, like they've got 30 hit points. I hit them for 6. They hit me for 2. I hit them for 8. Oh, they hit me for 7. You know, it does away with a lot of that and makes it more engaging in the combat, and not quite a fully narrative system, but a very good step in that direction so that the actions matter and feel and they have weight without it just feeling like a slugfest where you're comparing who does more points each round. So I like what he has put together a lot, and hopefully we'll be doing some more stuff with that moving forward once we're not in a tundra, I think. So, um, anybody have anything else they want to add? You want to say anything about your channel, Frosty?
Um, just thanks for having me be a part of this. It's been great. And for anyone who's watching, come check us out. We're going to be getting back to our Indara campaign. Probably not this week, but the week after. We're going to finish up our Alien one shot this week and finish up Act 1. We're playing. I can't remember what the module is off the top of my head, but our player David's been running a great little Alien one shot while we had some absences. It's been a lot of fun. You can check out past episodes on YouTube. You can also catch up on the Andara campaign at Andromeda Adventures on YouTube. And I'm just personally really excited to get moving on Star Trek. I think we're pretty close to being ready. We still got a few things to work out, but it's going to be amazing. I'm really excited for it.
I'm excited about the group too. It's because of the setting, the specifics of it being a Starfleet setting. There's there's some adjustments from a normal role playing game, but we're getting there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a really good crew for that one that you've assembled. Yep. And James,
Yeah,
want to say anything to plug Blood, Sweat, and Steel real quick? Let people know where to find it, that kind of thing.
yeah. If you just look up Blood, Sweat, and Steel on Facebook, you can find us there. You can also do a search on Drive Through RPG, where you can get the PDF like for $10 right now. It's going to probably go on sale again soon. You can get the hardcover and soft cover as well. I've got a bunch of I've got like a GM screen and editable character sheet, coming out with new stuff for it. But yeah, I mean, I think if people just want to check it out, to hit the Facebook page, or you can hit our Discord channel. We got quite a few people there that understand the game and know and can answer questions and things. And if you want to learn some unconventional ways of doing RPGs, this game is definitely unconventional. So it's different, but I think it's doing pretty good so far. So we're hoping to make that grow.
Alrighty. And like I said, we're looking forward to working with you on putting some stuff together for that game, and helping you with promotional videos or whatever we can do. Maybe doing some demo games, letting you run some games for the folks here. But it's a fun system. The 2 sessions we played, I enjoyed quite a bit.
You probably didn't hear our earlier conversation, but we are talking about having a charcuterie board party at the studio when it's up and ready. So that's already on the
Well, there's gonna be a few different levels of that. Yeah. So as soon as it's open, there's going to be sort of a groundbreaking mead party. We're not a champagne crowd, but we're a mead crowd. But then, yeah, once it's up and running and we figure out exactly what we can and can't do, we're going to have people over, getting them used to the space and whatnot. It is not a commercial space, so I just have to make sure we're on all the right grounds that we need to be on. For having people there and everything. We're building it to be a studio, but it's not a business. It's not, there's different hoops we have to jump through since it is a commercial space, but not going to be used specifically for commercial purposes. It's going to be a creative space, so a lot of things that I have to learn. But yeah, we're looking forward to that. It's been a long road getting there, but we're really close now. Did you want to add anything about unkindness in your game at Meeple Peak, Jillian?
It's should be a very fun game. It's actually one with a rotating GM. So if you're going to be there, we all get a chance to kind of lead the game, and really try to stop our friends from being able to achieve their goals. Which who doesn't love that while pretending to be a raven who is on a quest to mess with the owls or anything like that. So feel free to sign up on the conference link if you want to play.
All 3 of the games are listed on tabletop.events for the Meeple Peak convention, Meeple Peak 2023. So if anybody watching does want to attend, we will be there, set up at our 2 tables. If you don't want to sign up for our games, that's fine. Stop by, say hi if you'd like, meet some of the Mythical Family folks, but we will be there. Okay, so we do have a little bit of finagling to do, so I think I'm going to just narrate some time passing. Because we need to, unfortunately, our loud and boisterous self-appointed commander Zip is not here. Godo is back. So what we're going to do is, after you guys have found out what was going on with the fungus shepherd, and deal with how displeased he is that there is now a gigantic goose footprint stomped into the floor of his cave. He doesn't know how it got stomped into the stone. He saw what happened, but he doesn't understand how it got stomped into the stone. But there is forever a footprint of the Quacken stomped and recessed into the floor of the cave. He is unhappy with the fact that due to your interference, which he is grateful for, but he is not happy that you managed to teach his myconoid herd how they can scramble over themselves to get out of their pens. So he's going to have to solve that problem for himself. And yes, there were 2 adventurers that made their way into the cave from up above. And it looks like, from what you can tell, they were looking for something else and stumbled into this guy. You showed up before they figured out exactly what they were going to do, but you're certain that if you had not intervened, bad things would have happened up here to your fungus flock and your myconoid flock and your fungus farm that he has in here as well as your shepherd, which is a solitary position for the tribe. There is only one shepherd, and his job is up here at this cave. Nobody really knows why. His position is unique, but it's just always been that way. You do, with his guidance, you're able to make your way back to the tribe and report what went on. You collect Wadsworth on the way, who is done with his nap but didn't know where to go, so just sort of waited. He has no problems walking through and basically deactivating, petting, or quelling the fungus that are dangerous to bypass. You guys do ask why those are left in place, and his only response is because things like this can happen, and this dangerous path is still between him and the tribe, because his cave is sort of, it has access to outside. You guys return with victorious. You do have each of you get another 3 shinies worth of stuff if you would like to do some shopping. A little bit of renown and respect, and people are a little happier this time than they were at your last victory. What was that? Or was that an echo?
I think it was an
It was
echo.
an echo.
Okay, just checking. Okay, so you guys do watch as the shepherd convenes with the elders for a couple of days. You guys, anybody that does have any harm can go ahead and heal that harm. Everybody that did expend any zeal gets one of those zeal back. And it's not long before you guys are sort of gathered back up. And you're going to return with the shepherd. So if there's anything you want to do in town first, you should do so.
Naz would like to add some various bits and bobs of the adventure to his bag of dead things. And
Okay.
he's going to use one of their rib cages as armor for his shiny.
Okay, yeah, you can do that before you leave. You'll, because of the magic that you have, it's easier to remove the rib cage intact than it should be, and we won't dwell on the details of it. You will need to take some time to sort of make it appropriate to wear it, though, which you can do in your downtime.
Is it not appropriate as is?
It's like a shirt. You just slide your arms in this spot.
I think it's flawless.
Anybody else want to pick anything up or spend any of their shinies on stuff that'll give them temporary traits or any of that?
I'm looking at major items. I'm just trying to think of one that's going to give me a useful trait.
There, let's see. You guys are getting shinies for it and everything. There is usable to you guys from what was there. There is a helmet. It's more like a chain coif, which is why it'll work for you. It's not a hard steel helmet, so it's not super huge. It drapes really heavy, but there's a chainmail coif that can be used as a helmet. There is also there is a sword that's too big to use, but there is somebody who had a short sword, which is like a great big sword for you guys. And there is the person's crossbow, which you can use. It's just really big, and it's really hard to recock the string. So there may be some rolls or costs to reloading it, but you guys can use it. It's essentially it's a light crossbow, but it's still really big for you guys. Those are available before you head back to town.
Ooh, well, Jumper's kind of got his eyes on that sword and that helmet thing. But I don't know if anybody else has got dibs.
I think you're probably a good fit for both of those.
I have ideas for this contraption. As takes the crossbow and puts a dead on it. I think I could get some use out of it.
Yeah, Chomper's gonna try to get it on his head and see if it makes him feel like a better warrior for the group.
Alrighty, so is that the way you guys want to divvy it up? Chomper will take the sword and coif, and you guys are going to be brave enough to let Naz actually play with a crossbow? Okay.
This one, if you'd like, I could put the lizard on it. You see, you just put the pokey thing through the lizard, and then you load it up, and you send it flying. Do any of you want a lizard shooter?
A lizard shooter.
I'm going to try to adjust your volume real quick, James. Hold on. You may need to turn it up on your end a little.
Ah.
I will try over here as well.
You don't seem offended by the dead lizard. It's just a dead lizard. It's very useful. And it's an emergency food supply.
I've got you turned up a little bit on the stream Discord, so hopefully that'll help a little. But you were quiet to me, but I wasn't sure if it was just me, and apparently it's not. So
Okay, is it better now?
you're still pretty low.
Huh. I don't know where I can. I think my thing's all the way up. This is weird. Control panel, output, input. Huh. This looks like I'm all the way up. Oh, is
All
there
right,
a
let me
setting
see what I can do
in?
on this end.
Isn't there a setting in? There we go. No, they're both cranked. Let's see. Input device. If I switch that, it'll get better. They're all the way up. And let me try my sound settings.
We'll try that for the
Check 1, 2.
audio coming into
Oh,
the stream. I have you
How's
cranked
that?
up to 200%.
Much better.
That
much
sounds
better.
good.
There we go.
Chris.
Sorry.
That sounds good. That's okay.
I found a slider that wasn't all the way up.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So
So I
Yeah.
think for one of my shinies,
works.
my last shiny, I would like to just find a dead kobold skull and wear it up. Naz needs to look the part of the necromancer.
Got
Okay. They don't want you wearing it around town. That
Never
is
invited
somebody's
into town.
ancestor, and they were part of the tribe. But yeah, outside of town, you can totally wear that.
How else are you supposed to bring the spirit of the ancestors with us?
Exactly.
And that argument is one of the only reasons it's allowed to go.
So,
Okay.
like,
So
Yarp is looking for something that's going to let him consistently light things on fire. So maybe you can tell me what major item can I find that's going to let me just light things on fire. I don't know how many problems that's going to solve, but I feel like it's going to solve a lot of problems.
okay.
Fire solves all
You want
problems.
like little flasks or gourds that you can use as like Molotovs? What are you looking for?
I'm leaning in the line of blowtorch, but I don't know that kobolds have a blowtorch.
No. No. What you can do, I would let you basically until it doesn't work. That would be the measure of the ammo.
Yep.
You can have basically like a blowgun tube, something that you'll slap, and it will spread something out as long as the front is lit. Something like a candle or a honey wrapped torch, something that'll stay lit. You've got something that you can slap, and it'll just be a flammable fungus that will go out and ignite as it goes out. You can do that.
That's perfect. I will take my janky kobold flamethrower.
Okay, so What we will
Use
do with
dead
that
frog.
is
You just stuff its stomach filled with all the stuff,
Zach,
and
I
then
was
you
thinking,
squeeze. You put the candle in its mouth and squeeze it. And...
yeah, I've got a duck. Yeah, I think if we get back to town and Yarp just puts together this terrible thing that is a tube with a candle at the front, and it's a it's a duck's belly that's stuffed full of whatever this flammable fungus is. He just squeezes it like he's playing bagpipes, and it
I was
shoots
going to say
fire.
it built like bagpipes, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what we'll do is on an attack roll with that, it will give you the trait to attack. It will also give you the trait to ignite something on fire separately, if that's what you're trying to do, not together in an attack. If at some point you completely miss, it's something happens. It's either out of what it can do, or something has ruptured and you don't get to fix it or whatnot. And it will be dangerous on a fumble.
This is perfect for him.
I figured you would approve. Okay, so we will do that. Okay.
Can Chomper get would it be a mundane item? I wanted to get some kind of little, like a dart or a small something I can use as a quick ranged weapon, like if I want to chuck it at somebody and then charge at them. Would that be a mundane item, or would that be a minor item, or how would that work in the game?
That would just be a bag of dead things. That would be a minor item, and it can be a collection of them, so that it gives you the trait. And we'll do the same rules, since it's not a permanent thing. If at some point you miss, then what happens is you've thrown your last one. It can be everything from just sharpened rock discs to darts, or like spearheads that are just designed for you to throw. They're not a full spear. Anything like that, you can just sort of have a pointy thing bag,
Okay.
sharp thing bag that you can throw. And what'll happen is, if at any point it gives you the trait to make a ranged attack, so it will allow you to attack at range. If at some point you miss, something happens, they fall, they scatter, or you've thrown the last one or whatnot. No, we're going to, since it's less dangerous than the duck emoliator. When you fumble using that attack, that's what will happen. We won't choose what will happen. What will happen is you're either out of them, or they fall and they break, or that kind of thing, and you lose that trait.
Okay, and that was 2 shinies, right?
For a mundane item, I believe it is, yes.
2 shiny. Yep. Okay. All right, perfect. So I got 4 left.
And it'll give you that trait temporarily, but by temporarily, it will allow you to use these more than once. Just they will be finite, and that just depends on the dice.
Okay. Chomper's ready.
All right.
Well, I'm also going to pick up a jar of oil.
Okay. Just because I feel it'll matter with you, how thick do you want the oil?
I mean, relatively thin.
Okay. Just
relatively thin, but highly.
You don't want to like grease fat?
No, I want it a little thinner.
Okay, just check. I can see it mattering when you use it, so just check.
Oh yeah.
All right,
that's fair.
Okay, so you guys are gathered back up at the elder's tent, and the shepherd is still there, and he looks sour, but he always looks sour. And there has been a decision made. You guys have all been called forward, including Godo this time. You guys do notice that Zip is not there, but the 4 of you have been summoned to talk to the elders. And when you guys go into their tent, the shepherd is still there, and he's just looking sour off to the side. He's sort of by the door, not by the elders. And one of the elders that you guys respect greatly is sitting there on layers and layers and layers of leathers and pelts and whatnot that lets him sit higher up than everybody else in the room. And he counts when you guys get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Everyone here. Okay. So we has problem, and you guys need to go back with Fizbib, and you fix problem like you did last time.
I don't know if
Adventurers.
the Kraken will help us this time.
Adventurers usually come in big pack like ducks, not just two. So there will be more. We don't want any more finding Shepherd. So we want you to poke out where they came in and see what they're doing and make sure they know find us. We would send Zip, but Zip says already been outside, doesn't want to go again. Other
Like
people
that.
should learn, was what he said. Yes.
I just pat the duck immolator and yes, we can stop.
We'll deal with the adventurers.
Yeah, how many shinies are we looking at here?
Oh, you bring stuff back? Lots of shinies. But just find out what they're doing, find out why they're here, make sure they know find us.
Find stuff. If we bring the adventurers back in bits, does that count as many things?
Oh. We'll consult the bones.
I'm good at that.
You seem like you might have actually stumped him. So he's gonna consider that.
Apparently, I've been hanging out with Naz a lot.
All right, so somebody lead the way.
I will. And I will march boldly towards the cave entrance.
Okay. Fizbib standing there, just looking dour with his arms crossed. Okay. You lot come with me again, I guess. I get you back safely, then you go up their cord. I should
Onward, Wadsworth. Follow Godo.
make all of you help me build bigger fences before you go. But I was told I can't. So let's go. All right, so it's a few hours like it was before, but with the guide and the knowledge that you guys got last time, it's absolutely no trouble getting there. So it's a long trek. You guys have a little bit of time to sort of babble and discuss and make any plans or whatnot that you want to do. Ask any questions of Fizbib if you have any, but otherwise we'll just fast track you getting there. There will be the issue of Wadsworth can get all the way there. Wadsworth can't climb a rope.
We can pull Wadsworth up on a rope.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
I hear
And it'll
it's
help
the
if we
rope
teach him
around.
to fly.
Could do that.
It may take more time than you have, but what's your plan on that?
I would like to pull out a dead bird and stitch the wings onto Wadsworth and enlighten him with necromantic magic so that he can easily flap his little birdie wings and rise to the occasion.
I'd like to help by hammering the wings in with some nails so they are stuck to Wadsworth.
Okay, given the ridiculous nature of this game, I'll allow it. So, go ahead and roll 1 die to assist, Ryan, and I'll give you your bag of parts and your necromantic magic. Let's see whether or not this works.
A 4.
I got a 3.
Okay. So, wow. All right. So, cunning ploy. All right. You're fairly certain you didn't gift Wadsworth the gift of flight, but you think it will work to get him up to the top.
Excellent.
Okay. So Wadsworth flies and has a hard time getting his fat mole body up over the ledge and goes out into the sunlight, which he, even undead mole, doesn't like.
Is bright. Do not like this.
And you guys are not going to have light sensitivity of any kind. Just you guys aren't going to like it, so just run with that. There's not going to be
I'm
any
not looking forward to it either.
What was that?
I was just saying, I'm not looking forward to the bright light either.
Pull
You think
down
it's
some
always like
wealthy
that
dog.
out there? Just perpetually light.
Ugh, with his
So
tail.
how's everybody going to get up the rope?
Just
Timing.
Simon?
Okay.
Chopper's pretty strong.
Okay.
So what do we need to do add anything, or let's see.
I'm going to make this a simple task, but it will be a test. I'm stepping outside of the mechanics here. I'm going to give everybody 2 dice to roll. If you have traits, you can add to that.
Can I ride Wadsworth?
No, that
Okay.
wouldn't have worked. That would have been too much stress on his
The little wings
nailed-in
can't
wings.
carry that much. Yeah.
His little.
I think Chomper's just 2d6. Uh-oh.
We have lost our GM. So while he's gone, we have all made our way up the rope, correct?
Obviously.
No, I got a 3 and a 2. I don't think I made it.
Nope, we made it.
We will memorialize Chomper.
I knew that chainmail helmet was too heavy.
Why? We should use Zoom. I've not ever had this problem. You jinxed me, Frost. And did that shuffle everybody?
It did. If you
Yeah.
go
I'm gonna
back
go
to
turn the-
video, it should pop you back to the same position that you were in, or pretty close to.
It's actually
Let's
just you
try
and
it.
James who are switched.
Yeah, just use it.
That doesn't look
Chomper's
right.
now the GM. There we go.
Did it put it back, or should I go turn the name tags off?
That's back.
No, that put it back.
Oh, well, that was fortunate because it doesn't always do that. Alrighty. So I'm sorry if I missed anything. What were folks doing?
I mean, we're all at the top of the rope now.
Oh,
Yeah.
are you? How terribly inconvenient of me to miss
Would
all that.
making friends count, as I'm obviously determined to go and help my fellow kobolds on this adventure and be with Wadsworth. And by doing this together, we're all going to be much closer as friends. And they might finally invite me into town.
The way you define making friends, somewhat literally, that's not going to work for this.
Godo is just going to jump on the rope and start scurrying up like the reckless, sneaky little git that I am. Because it is keeping the village safe, which is my motivation in all things.
I will give you sneaky git, so you can have 3 dice. So everybody else will start with 2.
So I would
So
like
that's-
to. I'd like to leverage my my perk mastermind and say that I have brought myself a pair of climbing. I guess what, like crampons. I guess. Mostly it's just some like very ramshackle nails that have been put together in like a vaguely boot-shaped configuration. So I have spikes on my feet, and I can just climb the wall with my feet and kind of pull up like a reverse rappel.
Okay. All right. The text on Mastermind again, so the folks know what you're doing.
Twice each session, I may reveal that I had done something at an earlier time. Make one move as if flashing back to that moment, even if you haven't previously established you'd been there. And in this case, I'm flashing back to me packing things for this trip and putting in my ramshackle climbing boots.
Okay. Your climbing booties. Fair enough.
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead and add those to your list of gear.
Perfect. Let me roll my 3d6. It's 4 for me.
Okay.
It was a 6 for me.
All anybody needs is a 4. So
seeing
Dodo
that he's
is up.
still stuck at the bottom and trying to figure out how to get up, Naz is going to dig through his bag of dead things and pull out a dead spider and kind of attach it to his stomach/belt where his robe is tied, like a little winch. And he's going to use necromantic magic to animate it so that the spider will carry him up the string. While he says, "Itsy bitty spider went up the little cave. Out came the sun and made them not so brave."
All right. So the bag of dead parts will make it possible, and I will give you the necromantic magic. So roll your 3 dice.
A 5.
Okay. And is that everybody? Did I miss
I
a
don't
roll
think
for
I
Chomper?
made it. I got a 3 and a 2 when I rolled. I think my sword's too heavy.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, yeah, it looks like it's going to be rough. So you guys got to figure out how Chomper's going to get up there. He's everybody else seems to have made it up with tricks and doodads and gadgets, or just having been better at climbing and being sneaky. Chomper doesn't look like he's built for this. So what do you guys want to do? He's still at the bottom of the rope. You guys are standing at the back of a very shallow cave. It's only about 10 feet deep, and it's no more than about 3 or 4 feet tall. You think the adventurers probably had to shimmy or crawl in to find this. But there has been a rope anchored and thrown over for them to crawl and go down into the cavern below, and that's the rope you're using now. So you guys have a little bit of underground space to work with, but Chomper has his new sword and he's got his chainmail coif, and he's ready to kick anything's butt that wants to threaten you guys. But this rope looks tough.
What if we pulled him up?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll tie it around myself, right?
Okay.
The bottom.
Here's what we'll do. Everybody, all 3 of you that are assisting, roll 1 die. Chomper, you will get a bonus die for everybody that succeeds.
I got 2.
I got a 4.
What about
Got
you,
a
Dodo?
6.
6. All right, we'll give you 2 for that. So, all right, Chomper, try it again. Roll 5 dice. You've got a lot of help.
If I don't make it this time, guys, you have to go out without me, I think.
Naz is just saying that if you put your leg there and pull here, and you can pivot over there. And
There you go. It turns out, oddly enough, that it's really, really easy to climb a rope when all you have to do is let people drag you up. Super easy. You don't know why it was a problem before.
See? No problem.
All right. So you guys are up. There are a lot of really odd smells in the fresh air that you're not used to. So it's a little bit painful on your nostrils for a moment or two, just enough to make your eyes water a little bit, but it's all of the outdoor fresh air smells that you guys don't normally get. So it's like when you first get out of your car and you're up in the mountains for the first time kind of thing. And you can see that you are looking down a rocky ledge of a huge mountain range. And you know that somewhere in the rock down below your feet is your whole world and your tribe.
Mm.
I think this is as good as our cave.
look up at the sky and like, cave doesn't have a roof.
Look at how lifelike everything is. There's nothing dead here at all.
Oh, there is no roof. Ugh, where do they hang things?
Well, where do we go now?
We look for adventurers or signs of adventurers.
Make look around checks and tell me what you're doing with them.
Okay, I gotta open that up. I can't remember how to look
That
around.
is 6 for me. I'm looking for footprint.
Okay. And what trait are you using to look around?
Ugh.
I am not using traits. It's just a plain roll, so I got a 6.
Okay. All right.
I'm
See what
going to
everybody
pull,
else gets, and we'll put it all together.
I'm gonna pull out the skull
Hey, I got a 6.
of one of the adventurers that I tucked into my bag, and
Okay.
poke him in the forehead until he wakes up, and demand that he tells me where he came from.
Okay. Roll your necromantic magic, and let's see. Let's see what you get.
A 1.
Oh boy.
Here.
Well, remembering that you couldn't communicate with them, it apparently says something very slowly that you can't understand. It seems to have worked. It just doesn't help you at all.
My mother isn't involved in this argument. What about yours? Where did you come from?
All right. And did you roll, Godo?
No, I'm just gonna charge down the mountain, screaming adventurers for reckless.
Oh, okay. All right. So you go barreling down the hill as everybody's taking a look around. Let's see, Chomper and Yarp rolled the 6s, right? Yeah. So
Mhm.
Chomper and Yarp, you guys do notice that off to your right and slightly above you, let's see, you smell a campfire. You don't see anything in the bright light, but you smell a campfire. And there's outcroppings and ledges and stuff up there, but it seems like somebody up above you, a short distance, has set up some kind of fire. And Godo, you go scrambling down the hill a little bit. It's really steep, so you're not moving as fast as you would like to, but you're going for it. And you scream at the top of your lungs, which now that you're outside for the first time is really way, way less impressive than you're used to it being. It just sort of goes out into the air and just dissipates. It's really weird. But yeah, you go calling for the enemy, and the only thing you get is a couple of winged creatures, a couple of birds from the trees way, way down below, kind of kick out of a tree and fly off.
Are they within grabbing distance?
The birds, no, they're hundreds of yards off. They're way down the hill where the trees are.
So so if I see this stuff up there, can we kind of sneak up there and see what we can see?
You can. You do have Godo barreling down the hill as fast as they can recklessly.
I will climb on top of Wadsworth and march bravely behind Godo. They're genius. They clearly know how to find the adventurers they're scouting for.
We'll draw the adventurers out, yes.
Chomper's confused. Like they're there, and that's huh?
So it's a diversion. So the adventurers will go that way, and then we will be here, and then we will be behind the adventurers. But Goda will be in front of adventurers, and so then we make adventurer sandwich.
Sounds yummy.
It will be delicious.
Okay. Wadsworth and Naz are going to start trying to not fall down the hill as well. Chomper and Yarp, which way are you going? What are you doing?
I'm going to start sneaking my way up this hill, again using my climbing boots
Okay.
to help me make my way up this hill in a relatively quiet and concealed manner.
All right, we've got a store activation. Thank you, the other James. So, James, keep track of the fact that you get an automatic 6 on your next cunning ploy check.
Ooh,
One of the audience spent channel points and bought that for you.
wow, thank you. All right, I'll keep that in mind.
So next time you try a cunning ploy, you don't need to roll.
Oh, awesome. Well, then I'm gonna sneak up. I'm following him up the hill. I want to see what's going on up there, and I'm assuming that my capable friends that went charging down the hill to whatever will be fine for now. Can we still see them, by the way, as we're heading up the hill, or do we lose sight of them?
Yes, because this is steep enough that it is a climb, so that Godo isn't sprinting down the hill. They're not torpedoing down the hill. They are doing it much faster than they should be, and there's some sliding involved, but it's mostly just hopping down from ledge to ledge and running off to the side and finding another spot to drop down. Scrambling down fairly quickly, but it's not just running down a hillside. It's steeper than that, and it's much more uneven.
Okay.
And actually, Naz and Wadsworth are having a much slower go of it because Wadsworth can't get the footing that tiny little Godo can. So Wadsworth is being very careful. Wadsworth has a really, really good chance of just barrel rolling down this mountain if they're not careful.
All right, I'm gonna
so
whisper to. I want to whisper to. What's your character's name again, sweetie?
Oh, Yarp.
Yarp. I'm gonna whisper to Yarp as we're kind of come up this way. Should we maybe separate a little bit so we're not like sitting ducks in case there's something up here?
Yes, it would be better if we were standing ducks.
Ducks are ferocious, remember.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the most dangerous jobs in the tribe.
Yeah, let's. If you want to go left, I will go right, and then we can meet in the middle on the ledge with the fire.
All right. Yeah. So I want to separate enough, but so I can still see Yarp. And then I'm gonna you take a different angle. That, like I said, if one of us gets
Yep.
spotted or something happens, maybe we don't both get screwed over.
Mm-hmm. Works for me.
Just a second here. Okay. So go ahead and make me a don't get caught roll. You'll get 1 die for the boots on your feet. Is there anything else you want to use? And what are you going to do for your don't get caught roll, Chomper?
I'm not sure that I really have anything that applies because nobody's being directly harmed. My shtick is basically protection, and protecting people. So I'm not really doing that right now. So I think I'm just going to be a 1d6, right?
I think you're
Yes.
protecting me by splitting off.
What's that?
You'll get 1d6, but the 6 just counts as a 4 or 5. It doesn't count as a 6. That's all that means. And you'll get the 1d6 from your boots, Yarp, and it'll count as you having the trait. Godo, you ferociously bounce, crawl, and slide down the hill to the point to where you're really sort of your lungs are really filling with this cold, fresh air, and you catch your breath a little bit. It's only been 20 or 30 seconds, but you've just been going for it, hopping down the rocks and sliding down the ledges and yelling and scaring the birds. And you realize up above you, quite a ways back, Naz and Wadsworth are trying to make their way down the hill, which is terrifying because if Wadsworth falls, there's a chance they're going to go right through you and everybody's going to end up at the bottom of the mountain. But you see Chomper and Yarp climbing up the rocks from where you were toward a place where there's a little bit of smoke on the mountainside.
Yarp, are we supposed to go that way?
You guys are in yelling distance of each other. You can hear.
I think Yarp would shout back, "Yes, come join us." Just being
I love them.
absolutely the opposite of stealthy.
Where there's smoke,
Well, you
there's
were yelled at.
adventurers.
You were yelled at. It's rude to not respond.
Exactly. And with the
Okay.
one that I rolled on my not get spotted or whatever the particular name of this move is, the don't get caught. On my one, I'm just going to give you loud.
Okay. Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. You yelled and you hear your voice echoes like it should in the caves, sort of, and carries across the rocks a little more like you used to. But it occurs to you that it probably went up as well as down. And how'd you do, Jumper?
I also rolled a 1.
Okay. So how do you fail? Give me the prompt on how you fail at being stealthy.
I got a feeling that I'm not used to climbing with that big old sword, and maybe that sword got caught on the rocks or something and caused me to fall off the side. I don't know. I'm not sure how this works.
Okay. So the sword is the problem. You give me the
Sword.
prompt and I decide what the fumble is. So
Oh,
the sword
gotcha.
is the problem.
Yep.
So here's what we're going to do. You're doing your best to be quiet and drag this big heavy sword, and it takes you a lot of effort to look around with that big chainmail coif on. And you end up, you're pretty exhausted by the time you get to where you should be. And sort of without realizing it, you climb up that last step, and instead of peeking onto the ledge that you're looking for, this big heavy sword comes and flops onto the ground, and there's a moment of heavy breathing and an open hand, and you end up climbing all the way up, and you climb up onto the ledge, fully exposing yourself instead of peeking. Just
okay.
sort of glad to be on flat ground because you're just completely wiped out.
Whew.
And then you hear Yarp yell, "Yes, join us!"
We're going the wrong way, Wadsworth. Why'd you take us this direction? Clearly, we're supposed to go the other way.
Okay. The two of you and Wadsworth are going to climb back up. Are you worried about being quiet or anything, or just catching up with your buddies? What's the okay?
Just make our way back up.
Yeah,
Okay.
same.
Okay. So Yarp and Chomper sort of assess the situation at the same time. Yarp, you yell back down. You realize, oh, that was loud. That was really loud. And you peek, and you see across the ledge, laying pretty much full body and one leg up onto the ledge, is Chomper catching his breath. You peek and you survey the ledge. You and Chomper see that there is it was a campfire. Maybe somebody cooked something here. It's not been built as a proper fire pit. It's all stone here, so it just looks like a bunch of wood and stuff was piled in one spot and has just been left to burn out. It's still a little warm and has some embers, but it's not an open fire, and it's smoking a lot. You do see a couple of discarded bits of twine and things that look like maybe other things were wrapped in them. Smelling them, you can tell that it was probably food, cheese or bread of some kind. And there seems to have been a bit of activity up here, but there isn't anybody here now. And there is... Oh, was that me? Oh.
Nope.
We'll wait for Jillian. And hopefully everything's where it should be. Yeah, we did get Zoom to deliberately avoid this, but with working at the other place and the stresses that work was this week, I didn't get in to mess with it. So, and since I scooted here behind schedule tonight as is, I wasn't going to mess with anything new. I just wanted to get everything up and running.
tell you is I am going to go right after that twine and just scoop that all up.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. You've just got twisted hemp twine.
Yep.
Looks like it was wrapped around bread loaves or stacks of cheese or something. There she is. Yay, Jillian.
It should fix when you go back, when Jillian goes back.
I hope so. Fingers crossed.
Was a robot and or frozen.
Yep. Yep. It fixed itself.
Are we good? I still show it as wrong. Oh, but I don't see Jillian yet. It doesn't kick over live. Yay! Okay. At least it's cooperating with us for that for tonight, because I do like having the names up for anybody watching. Okay, so yeah, it's just a moment or two before Naz and Wadsworth scramble up. Wadsworth isn't breathing heavy because Wadsworth doesn't breathe, but Wadsworth is straining a lot to pull himself up onto this flat ledge, also carrying a kobold with a heavy bag of bits. And Godo comes up on the ledge behind. You guys have assessed. You've picked up your twine chomper. You've caught your breath a little bit. You're glad there wasn't anybody here to fight, but you're good. You were ready for it anyway. There's a split in the rocks. It doesn't go all the way up, but it's like a really, really tall kind of triangular break in the stone that looks like it's been here for a very, very, very long time. And it goes back into the mountain for a short way, and you guys can see a way in the back, probably 30, 35 feet back, is a torch, and it looks like it's on the wall. You can't see much around it, but you can, in the darkness, see the light, and it looks like there's a torch that's on a wall or up on a ledge or something about 4 feet up, 30 or so feet back into the darkness.
Oh, thank goodness! Is back in cave.
Well, nowhere else to go but in and down.
Okay.
Carefully.
Okay, so you guys creep back down the little passageway there.
Yep.
Okay. There are remnants of things that have just been left to decay here. There's old bits of timber that looks like it used to hold things or be rails or something, some kind of construction here. Bits of it's basically just windblown burlap at this point. It's completely threadbare and dry and brittle cloth that's devoid of all of its color. There are the bones of some small animals, squirrels, that
Pinky
sort of
bones.
thing. Bones, okay. And after about 10 or 15 feet, the walls abruptly smooth into a worked stone triangular passage. And back where the torch is hung, there is actually a doorway finely carved into the mountain. It's all the same stone. It looks like it's just carved out of the stone of the mountain. And there's ornate bits of like ivy carved in it. There's not any runes or anything that looks like writing. There's nothing excessively decorative like dragons' heads or gargoyles or anything like that. It's just a framed door, and it looks like it was a single door width, so only about 3.5 feet, but it's split between two small doors that look like they have been hit, abused, and damaged and beaten open. And right by the doorway are two 3.5 foot tall. It looks like they used to be like fire braziers. They would have something burning in them, like open sconces. And there is what's left of a torch just sitting in one, burning down. It is a much, much larger torch than you guys use and make for kobolds. You don't know how long it burns, but you do know that it would eventually burn out and go out. So you can expect that this has probably been here no more than a few hours.
I'm going to take this opportunity to light the duckamolator, so make sure that the candle on the end is lit.
Okay.
And then I'm going to give it a squeeze at this torch just to see if I can't get it, really firing up again.
Okay. Yeah, you give it a little bit of a honk at the torch, and it sort of blows the fungus stuff out, and what it does is it sort of spreads the fire all over the top of what the basin would be, and it will burn out quickly, but it is much brighter for a short time.
And with that, what do my little lizard eyes see now that there's light?
Well, the light is on the outside of the door. It lights up on the inside a little bit, and from what you can tell, it looks to be a constructed and well carved passage on the inside.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. Good craftsmanship. Yep. But I'm gonna just go open that door in the middle of the room then.
Okay.
No, we should.
The doors are open about halfway. They're open wide enough for like a human to squeeze through. They're not pushed open all the way, but it's wide enough for you guys to just walk through.
What were you saying, Jillian?
Oh, we should do this stealthily. Slowly push open the door or quietly, but I guess it's already open, so we should peer around.
I have an idea. I'm going to reach in and pull out one of my dead rats, rip out one of its eyes and eat it, and then raise it with necromancy and see through its eyes as I have it crawl into the room on the side.
Okay, roll your necromantic magic and see how that goes. The bag of parts makes it possible, so just roll your necromantic magic for a look around.
A 6.
Just gonna sneak in.
Oh, nice. Okay. So with a 6 for look around, you get to choose. So you get to ask me a question. What's dangerous here? What's valuable here? What recently happened here? Or what's hidden here? Or something similar. And with your 6, that means you get to choose instead of me answering the question. I'm picking what the question is.
What's hidden here?
Okay. Your rat goes in and looks around, and you see there are the remains of what would have been a trap in the wall. It looks like it's decrepit and didn't work, and it looks like a metal spike should have come out of the wall at what would essentially be chest level for you. You're guessing knee level for an adventurer or a human or somebody taller. And it looks like it was triggered, but it didn't work. So it's sort of half sprung. So it looks like there are traps here. Also
There are
looks
many
like
traps in the
somebody's
upper
ahead of
room.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And they've triggered a couple of them. It's already set off. It's got a spiky bit. But other than that, my rat doesn't know anything. Yeah, it would pierce us in the chest. I'm sure it'd be a nasty knee biter for some of the taller folk.
Open those into my bag. As many spiky bits as I can find.
Okay. It occurs to you that with a malicious repurposing roll, you could reset this thing to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I want to reset it near the humans.
Okay. A lot of the components for that won't be there. You can take
Oh,
You can
I
take
see.
some of the bits of this and repurpose something later and use the parts from this. You can do that.
Yep, that's what
But the mechanism is all in the floor and wall,
Mm.
so that'll be tough to get to. You're fairly certain with just a couple of minutes, though, you could reset it and make it work. Or you can scrap some parts out of it and use them later. You can do that too.
I'll reset it. I'll reset it. We'll see how this goes.
Okay.
Well, that's a 2.
Okay. It looks like that's just a normal failure, so it looks like even with a little bit of tinkering and whatnot, it's just too rusted and jammed up. So it might work on others, but this one would take a lot of work and time you just don't have. This one's really shot.
Yep. This is what it is.
So did you say there was
What's-
more than one trap in this area?
I think
I
that's
kinda
what
missed
Naz
that.
said, yeah.
Well, if
Yes,
I've learned anything from Yup, it's that if there's one, there's many.
What's the sneaky git doing?
Sneaking.
okay.
I hear there are traps. I'm sure I can get around them flawlessly. Essentially, I'm going in, I am trying to be observant, but I'm just like, Bugs Bunny on my tippy toes, just like creeping in.
Okay.
Little
Alrighty.
twinkling sound as you
Yeah,
tiptoe.
piano.
Ooh, you can either do a look around or an avoid danger. Which one do you want to do first?
I'll do avoid danger.
Okay. So sneaky git will help you with that. Reckless isn't going to do you any good. Anything else that might help you?
I don't think so now.
Okay. So it looks like it's just the one die, but you do have the trait for it, so that's good.
That's a 1.
Ooh.
Oh, that's not good.
No.
Okay.
So I should have only rolled 1d6, correct? Not 2?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Because you only have one trait that applies.
Okay.
You can roll a die without a trait, but then a 6 is just a partial success, not a 6.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
That's what the first trait does for you. Okay, so yeah. You discover that on the floor there's a block that they're all sort of carved and ornate and whatnot. I will give you for free that you discover that the block that set the first trap off has sort of a sunrise motif to it. Sunrise or sunset, it shows half of a sun and rays and whatnot. Those are scattered throughout the hallway as well, just as part of the pattern of the tiles. You step on one that has the same thing, and you do hear this rusty metal. You hear a clunk, which makes you snap and try to move out of the way, and you hear this rusty grinding as this thing which should probably work much faster comes out of the wall, sort of at throat and chest level, and you get out of the way, but there's one on the other side as well that pokes you in the shoulder, so you do take 1 point of harm.
Oh.
And you did see what triggered this. Roll the die for your point of harm, and don't roll another one. I say to jinx you.
A 6.
Okay, you're good. So you take a point of harm, but it is not fatal. It just hurts really bad. So yeah, it pokes you basically just under the shoulder blade. Painful, but not disabling, and moved just quick enough to actually sort of injure you.
Guys, I found
But-
another trap.
See, I told you there was more than one of them.
And so there's the stones that have suns on them. Don't step on those.
Makes sense.
Hey,
Sun's
Chuck.
bad.
Do the traps reset when they're done?
You're not sure if they're supposed to. These do not.
Quickly scrambles and digs out a bunch of dead little things from his bag. I got it. It's brilliant. There's no way they can stop it. Just lines up an army of dead rats and spiders and squirrels and pulls out his staff and says, "Rise, my minions, and march forth. Sacrifice yourselves for the noble kobold horde." And I'm going to use Necromantic Man, just raise all of the little dead things and have them walk across, triggering all the traps.
Okay. All right. Roll your necromancy.
Would I add my bag of tricks to this? Or my bag of dead things?
I'll go ahead and let you add it for this one instead of it just making the spell possible. So yeah, go ahead and roll 2. Usually,
3
what
and
that's
2.
going to do is okay. So usually, what that's going to do is let you do the thing,
Okay.
unless the parts are specific to what you're doing, like creating something. So yes, you guys watch this. That's you watch Naz dig a bunch of just gross things out of their bag of dead things, sort of line them up like they're getting ready to do a dog race, and raises their staff, says their sacrifice yourself thing, slams their staff on the ground, and there's this burst of necromantic magic again, and you see all of the things start to stir. One of the squirrels just sort of falls on its side, kicking and making terrible noises. 2 of the rats start fighting, and everything else just sort of scatters and runs, and most of them go out toward the fresh air and leave the way you guys came in. So everything animated, but nothing did what it was supposed to.
I think Yarp's gonna grab that. Seeing this, Yarp's gonna grab the squirrel. He's gonna very quickly gut it.
Okay.
And I'd like to use the squirrel skin and the twine to make an impromptu slingshot. And then I'm going to use that
Okay.
slingshot to be like flinging, little pebbles and rocks and things at each one of these squares before we get to it to set off the trap.
Okay. You have rocks hit these things. It takes you a couple of tries for some of them, just because it's sort of an improvised weapon, but you get it to work. It doesn't seem to set the traps off. You're thinking it's going to take a little more than that.
I put the ball of fighting rats in the slingshot and sling it at the sun tile.
There's enough of a hit and commotion with that you do hit another one of the sun blocks, and you do hear a chink, and this rusty spear kind of grinds with this terrible noise out of the wall. This time it just comes from the left. There's not one on both sides, so it seems like there's some on the right, some on the left, and some that are from both directions. But it is that same tile. It's not in the center of the path. It's scattered around the hallway. But there are only 3 of these traps triggered. There was the one you discovered when you first came in, and the 2 that you guys have set off. Those are the only 3 you see set off. But yes, all 3 of them have been triggered by the 2 foot by 2 foot mosaic tile of a either rising or setting sun.
Go up and scoop my rats into my rat sling.
Okay.
Back in the bag. Just
No,
chasing after his stuff, trying to get them all back in the bag.
You collect some of them, but a lot of what you just put out just scattered.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get a few things back in the bag.
So is it Godor? How do you say that? Godo?
Godo. Yeah.
Is Godo in trouble right now?
Nope.
Oh, why?
It poked you, and you're not impaled or anything. It poked you, and ow, and you moved because it would hurt to stay on the thing. But you're sort of standing on the far side of two metal spears that came out of the wall and didn't quite go all the way out to cross where each other's are. They're like a foot and a half apart. And you've stepped, and you're looking at everybody else trying to set traps off down the hall. So now you've got the one you came in, the one that Yarp has set off, and the one that you set off, and all three of them have been triggered by that same tile.
Yeah. So again, just don't
And
step on those
somebody
tiles.
has been here before you guys and set off the one trap and either left or presumably continued on their way and didn't set off any of these traps because the ones that you have set off, the two that you have set off, were not set off by whoever was here before.
Yeah.
So can I make it over to the other side now safely if they've all been triggered?
You're
Or is
not
there
sure they've all been triggered. The hallway goes back into the dark. It's at least 60 feet long because it goes past where the light from the outside is shining in. Your guys' eyes will adjust to it because you do live in this environment. But right now, you have daylight coming through the doorway and the fire from right outside the door, providing light in here, which is making it your eyes adjust to it and don't like it, but it's also limiting what you can see in the dark.
So I want to catch up to Godu, and so kind of try to take point, I guess, again, and wait for the others to catch up. So we're all back together again.
Okay.
And
So
I
you're
will
going to
ride
move forward to
Wadsworth
go.
behind Champa.
Okay. With Wadsworth, make an avoid danger roll. Yeah, and we have another channel point claim. So Godo, you get a bonus die on your next avoid danger roll.
Woohoo!
James
I got a
from
4.
Andromeda Adventure did that as well. Did that one too. You got a what?
A 4.
4? Okay. So Wadsworth is still, he's a giant mole, but he's a mole. So he's not huge, but he's much bigger than you guys are. He's having a harder time navigating the hallway here and is not nimble because he's undead. He does hit one of the traps. He is going to take some harm. You rolled a 4, so the cost to avoid him taking harm, is you need to take the point. You will take a point of harm, or Wadsworth will take some harm.
Wadsworth will take the harm. That's his job.
Okay. All right. So write down that Wadsworth has 2 points of harm.
Poor mole.
And he rolled a
All
6
right.
on his harm check.
Okay. He's not going to make harm checks. He's undead.
Oh.
He's going to hit a certain threshold, and then his physical self will give out. It's magic making him move. So at some point, it's just going to be the body will not be able to move. It'll just have enough trauma that it'll give out. So, and for the record, we'll just keep track of it. It will be at 5. At 5, poor Wadsworth is basically just going to be broken up enough that even if the magic is trying to make him move, the structure of his body just will not.
That's when I attach his head to my staff, and then he'll always be my friend.
But we
I have someone to talk to on the lonely nights.
But we have the technology. We could rebuild him stronger,
Yes.
better, made of steel and flesh.
Maybe we could make
So-
some kind of suit to put around Chomper out of Wadsworth, like a Wadsworth armor suit.
Like, but with
Chopper
with
likes that idea.
but with armor on the Wadsworth.
Okay. Yarp,
Yes.
you watch as Wadsworth and Naz riding Wadsworth, go down the hall trying to be careful. Wadsworth is not nimble. Does step right on one of these traps and does get pierced, not quite all the way through, but it's really, really deep, and has to like sidestep to pull his walking carcass off of the spear, and continues to move forward. So that's 4 traps that have been sprung now. And everybody's making their way down the hall. Yarp is still sort of closest to the entrance, and Godo and Chomper are at the furthest sprung trap at this point. And what are you guys going to do? Chomper said he was waiting for Godo to take point.
Yep.
Yeah, I will keep going.
I got your back.
So make another avoid danger roll. I'll give you sneaky git will apply. You have a temporary trait for the knowledge of the traps that you have. You also have a bonus die because James from Andromeda Adventure, Gemton, or Nutmeg words. I don't know what anti-nutmeg is, but I like him, so we'll just call him Nutmeg. You have 3 dice for avoid danger to sort of map your way down the rest of the hallway here.
Wait, did you say 4?
3.
Okay.
Sneaky git. You have knowledge of what the trap is, so I'm giving you a temporary trait. And the one was bought. Oh no.
3.
Wow.
But
Okay.
none of them are a 1.
No.
2 2s and a 3.
No. So regard for the consequences. So you make your way down the hallway, and 4 or 5 will tell you what the cost is to succeed. Here's the thing. You're either going to find the safe way down the hallway and take another point of harm, or you can avoid taking that harm, but you don't have a clear path marked yet.
I'll take the harm.
Okay.
For the good of the group.
Okay. So you're at 2 harm. Roll and make sure that that's not fatal. You're surprised as a spike comes from the roof, the ceiling this time. It falls much faster with gravity on its side.
It's a 2.
Okay. So that would be fatal unless you want to spend a point of your zeal.
Yes.
Okay. So you're at 2 harm, but you are not dead. And you
Chomper's gonna freak out and run to save her. He's freaking out. He just saw one of his own get hurt, and he's gonna try to sort of remember how she did it, but he's mostly concerned with just getting to her right now.
Okay. You guys have a clear path down this hall now because of where Godo has pointed out where the stones are. The last stone actually has a diamond pattern on it and is not the same as the other ones, and is sort of part of this mosaic at the end of the hallway. All of the tiles form this pattern of tile work and whatnot going up to the hall, and then there's this sort of arch at the end of the hallway, and in there are different tiles. There was a diamond tile that Godo found that was also trapped, but because of Godo running point and pointing out where the traps are, you guys do know the safe way down the hall, and the last trap has been sprung, so it's not going to get anybody else.
And Chomper's tearing off after her to make sure she's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, you get there, you follow the path that Godo laid out for you, and you get there, and Godo is at the last second sort of stepped to the side and leaned back. They were watching their sides. They heard the noise, and they didn't even take the time to look up. They sort of just tried to get to the side, and it looks like it would have gone straight down through Godo's skull, but it caught Godo in the shoulder instead. And Godo's hurt, but Godo's okay for right now.
I will do what I can to stop bleeding and just try to be consoling until everybody else gets there.
It's okay. Instead of a
Alright.
velociraptor, I'm now a T-Rex. Our other noble cousin.
Just gonna be like this for a little while. I'm okay. Just gonna be like this. All right.
I've
So
diversified my portfolio.
Wadsworth and Naz continue down the hallway. Wadsworth does not trigger any more traps. Yarp, you gonna follow the safe path?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. So you guys get to the end of the hallway, and there's another archway. There's no doorway in it. There's an archway, and you can see there's a ledge that goes out in front of you that looks like it would have been a large porcelain or some kind of pottered basin of some kind that it's just been broken and decayed from years of neglect. And on each side of that ledge are stairs that go down. So the hallway goes to this thing and it's sort of in the middle. And then there are stairs that descend on either side and wrap around to the front. And you guys can see that down there somewhere is the flickering light of either a campfire or a torch or something. It's not very close, but in the darkness that you're in now, you can see that there's little bits of light flickering down below you.
So I guess we go down, huh?
Seems reasonable.
Left or right? I don't think we should split up.
Do you want me to scout it out first?
Yeah. They appear to just wrap around the ledge and probably go to the same hallway. It's about 4 feet wide, and there's a basin, and it just forms like a ledge, and it looks like there are stairs that just go down and wrap around and probably meet right in front of this thing.
How about we go left and points to the right?
Sounds good.
Okay. And yeah, you guys head down the stairs, and you can see that the stairs from the other side wrap around. It's basically just a raised section that the stairs come down around and meet in front of. And you can see down the hallway, there are a couple of doors that look like they have been bashed open. It's worn and very old, but it's masoned and worked stone that forms a hallway. And as you're sort of assessing the situation and everybody gets down to the bottom, Wadsworth can just sort of barely squeeze through here. There's you hear the crashing and splintering of something wooden way down the hall in the darkness. And in the quiet, because pretty much the only noise has been you guys, it's really loud.
Sounds like adventures. I'm going to whip out my dagger and charge forward to fight them.
Not without me.
Right. Godo's going for it.
Looks to Yarp. I think
I've
we're
got
going
her.
to be adding them to the bag soon.
I agree. But they do have nice parts.
Okay.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
Godo does the reckless thing that Godo is known for and just starts running down the hallway, cloak whooshing behind them dramatically. Chomper is all about making sure that Godo gets to be reckless in a safe fashion. What are you two going to do?
I'll look at Max and just. Do you still have the shooting machine?
Yes! Should I do lizard, spider, whatever this thing is with a bunch of limbs on it?
I just hold up my jar of oil. I'm thinking this.
Ooh, yes! Here, put it in, stuff it in the frog's mouth, quickly. Quickly!
I just shove it into a frog's mouth. In order to make sure it stays in there, I wrap some wire around the front of the frog.
Okay.
So
And we're gonna
So it's now
attach the frog onto the crossbow and stretch its legs really far back with the wind-up thing, so it's like a slingshot with the frog.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to animate it, so it's ready to go.
okay. So you've got this frog impaled on a bolt with an oil flask in its mouth tied shut,
Mhm.
and you've got the
Oh,
bolt ready to go.
Yep, frog's ready to
Okay.
crush this oil and spray it whenever it lands.
Do you think you could attach these spider legs so that whatever it lands on, it grabs onto before it explodes? Right? Because
Yeah,
spider legs are sticky and you're good at making traps.
I just pull out some nails. I think I can make this work. And I just slowly nail in spider legs.
Okay. All right. So you guys
We're
are
making a sticky frog bomb, apparently.
yeah. Construct some
Terrible
horrible
monstrosity.
meat monstrosity. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you guys are putting that together. Godo and Chomper, you guys run down the hallway. You hear a little bit of laughing, and it's definitely adventurers. It's somebody much bigger than you, and you hear them say something. You can't understand what they're saying. You can't communicate with them, but you hear them say something rhythmically like "rah, rah," and you hear another really loud slam, a second really loud slam, and then you hear something break, and you guys get to a turn in the hallway. The hallway goes straight. There's a couple of rooms that have been smashed open. The hallway does a turn to the right, so it's the only direction to go. There's a doorway about 10 feet in that looks like it's just been smashed all to hell, and about 20 feet past that down the tunnel, you can see them because they're one of them's holding a torch and the other one's holding some kind of box that emits light. There is another big door that has been swung open, and you see the adventurers run into the darkness. And you would expect to continue to see their torch and light box, but as they run, you just see them wink out in the darkness, like they get shut off. And you're all excited. You see right where they are. They're probably 50, 60 feet away. They're right there. They're being rambunctious. They're dangerous. They're adventurers. And you turn around and you see there's some kind of meat and insect craft show happening down the hall behind you.
I yell back, guys, hurry up, we're losing them.
Hurrying! All right, it's ready. It's ready.
It's good.
So give me one necromancy check with 2 dice and give me one malicious repurposing with 2 dice. Let's see how your device...
Cockamamie plan.
Well, I got a 5.
I got a nat 1, so the prompt I'm going to give is, it's alive.
Okay. All right. We don't have... Okay, I think we've used all those. Okay. Yeah. So, and what did you get? 5 and 2. So you got a 5.
Yep.
Which is enough to succeed. I am going to say you guys get this thing put together. The result of it being alive, it animates sooner than you're expecting, Ryan. So it's set up the way you initially planned. It's a little too animated and difficult right now for you to attach the legs to it. It's still a frog with an oil flask in its mouth.
Okay. All right.
But
Still spew.
But you might break the entire thing now that it's unhappy and flailing around. And remember, the frog to you is about this big.
And it is impaled on a crossbow, so it's like, ah.
If you're gonna start driving nails into this thing, you might hit the oil. And obviously it's not going to blow up, but it could ruin the entire thing. So
Right.
you aren't able to attach the spider legs for the necromantic magic to work on that part.
Dang.
But you've still got it wired in, impaled on, and for whatever reason that it's relevant to the plan, it's animated, and you're set. And Chomper's down the hall telling you that you're losing them.
We're on our way, and run
Yep.
carrying the
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Cool
So you guys
Chomper.
travel down the hall. Godo and Chomper, what are you doing?
I
You see
guess we're
Chomper yell
waiting
at
for
them,
them, huh?
and they rally.
So we can see. I can see that they're on their way.
Yeah, they start moving just a moment or two after you yell.
All right. Let's get a little ahead and see what this darkness is. Why did it get so dark?
Yeah, I'm just like going, turning. No thoughts, only
Ah,
violence.
wait up!
Okay. Alrighty, so you guys run. You're used to the darkness that you're left in, so you're okay. You've got the limited vision, but it's the way you live. You're fine. You run. You get through the other doorway. You see it opens into a wide room, and you can see the shadow, almost like it's a wall in front of you. And you step into it, and everything is immediately still and quiet, and you are surrounded by an unnatural darkness. You, Godo and Chomper, can still see each other because you're essentially arm's distance from each other when you enter. But the darkness is thick like a mist and a fog. So pretty much just outside of your reach, it's heavy enough that even your vision's not helping. And Yarp and Naz, you guys and Wadsworth come scuttling around the corner just in time to see Chomper and Godo running down the hallway, and you see there's a door that's been smashed open. A little further, there's a bigger door that has been forced open, and there's a dark room beyond it. And you see them run into the dark, and then you do see it's like they're running into water or a fog. You see the dark sort of envelop them, but they ran straight ahead like they knew what they were doing. Chomper gave a glance over his shoulder to see that you guys were with them, and you guys see where they go. But swords raised and gung ho, they go into the darkness.
I just pull out the decimolator and
Okay.
kind of nozzle first, head into the darkness.
Okay. And what are you doing, Naz? What are you and Wadsworth doing?
I am going to pull out a dead bat from my bag and rip off its head, sort of eating it, and animate its vocal cords inside mine to give me sonic vision so I can see inside the dark, like a bat does. And
Okay.
then
Roll your
walk into the
necromantic magic.
darkness.
Went full Ozzy on that one.
That is a 3. My bat does not like me.
Okay. You swallow too quickly is all. So you eat the cords before the magic gets to work. All right. So
Wadsworth is blind. Before it saw in the dark too.
Hmm?
Wadsworth, you can. I need vocal cords. I need kobold vocal cords. I'm trying to figure out a way for to talk. I'm going to make him a better friend. What
All I need is another dead friend.
Right.
Don't worry. Give it 5 minutes. Then Wadsworth will be talking.
Someone will be dead by then. Alrighty. Let's since we're stepping into this part. Okay. So everybody steps into the darkness. The light, even from your lit duck emulator, sort of it's like fog. It provides light around you, but it doesn't seem to extend very far. and everybody stepping into that, you're also hearing this strange kind of echoing yelling, and it's hard to pinpoint where it's from. The echo sort of makes it sound like it's all around. Yarp and Naz and Wadsworth are in close enough proximity to each other that you can more or less see each other. You guys were essentially right on the heels of Chomper and Godo, but you don't see them when you walk in. And Chomper and Godo, you know that Yarp, Wadsworth, and Naz presumably were right behind you. But even just stepping in and sort of waiting a minute to assess the environment and wait for them to join you, you're there for several very long moments, and you can hear sort of yelping and echoing and words and stuff that you can't understand, presumably from the adventurers. The rest of your group doesn't join you. It's just the two of you. And let's go ahead and take our break for the night. So we'll duck out for probably 5 to 10 minutes. We won't take a very long break. That lets us get up and stretch and use the restroom, refill our water, whatever it is we need to do. But we will be right back shortly. Everyone good with that?
Yep.
Okay. I'll step over here and kick us over to break, and we will be right back, folks, for the finale of For the Dungeon.
Whew.
Alrighty, and we're back. Sorry for the rough transition. Again, flying solo here, so no one flipping switches for me. All right, so we have two groups of kobolds lost in the dark with at least two adventurers. So we'll go into the initiative system we've been using, which is just alternating, starting with the players. And we're going to do group by group since you guys are separated. We will start with Chomper and Godo. You guys know that your buddies wouldn't have just left you because they were running right up behind you. You don't know why they haven't joined with you. Is there anything you're going to do? You've waited for a little bit. You're hearing weird noises kind of echo in the darkness. Your vision and your light. You guys aren't carrying any light with you, but your vision that should let you see, even in humid tunnels and darkness and whatnot, it's where you live, does seem to be stifled by something. So what is it you would like to do?
I feel like we should wait, but I can't even see what I'm doing here.
I would, strangely
You
enough,
guys
agree
feel like
with
you can
that.
see in about a 6-7 foot bubble. You guys can see each other clearly, but that's about as far as you can see.
Maybe they're behind us. So let's lock claws
All
and
right,
just walk backwards until we maybe hit them.
I like that
Okay.
plan.
Yes.
And just to cover a little more ground, I'm going to grab my big sword and kind of hold it out sideways to the side of me because maybe we're off by a little bit. Just let me see what else we bump into.
Okay. So you guys, you sort of fan
Yeah,
out and straighten your arms,
make myself as
walk
wide as
backwards,
possible. Yeah.
and you step back probably 15, 20 steps. You feel like it's way further than you ran in, and all that really happens is you guys can see each other clearly, and the darkness just sort of, it's not really misty, but it just sort of coalesces. You do have these moments of vertigo where it feels like the darkness sort of shifts and twists around you. But you're certain you have now walked back further than you ran in before you sort of stopped when you realized that it got dark.
Something's weird here.
It is. Maybe we weren't completely straight and we wandered down a side tunnel. But either way, this is not effective.
Whatever happens, we don't lose sight of each other.
Yes, and I think we just presumed that they all died.
I'm going to yell out. I'm going to yell out for my companions. Hello! Anybody there?
Okay.
What do we hear?
You do hear that. So after a moment of assessing your situation as well, you run in, sort of stop when you realize it's dangerous to keep running faster than you can see. You're not sure where your buddies were. You sort of expected that they would have stopped. And then you do hear Chomper ahead of you say, "Hello!" And then you hear him repeat it off to your right.
Greetings, my excellent friend. We're over here.
And then I'm going to take the decorator and just aim it up at the ceiling and let out a jet of fire.
Okay. So, Godo and Chomper, you hear that. Greetings, good friends. And then you hear behind you, we're over here. From two distinct different locations. And then off ahead of you and slightly to the left, you see a very brief, kind of brilliant orange glow pass through the fog and then just sort of drift out, almost like like slow motion lightning just kind of dispersing in the darkness until it thins out to nothing.
1 + 1 + 1 is not 2. Something's weird here.
I think
And you hear a couple of other excited yells from the darkness that you guys don't understand. It does seem
I'd
to
like
be
to
coming
cast
from...
magic frog at the darkness.
Well, what color are your eyes?
All right. Well,
for adventures.
I think we need to find a wall. Seems like we need to find a wall. Some sense of where we are. Because it seems like everything's moving around us. So maybe we should try to just move sideways instead of going backwards and forwards and see if we find a wall.
There are
Maybe
3 streaks of blue light that sort of dart through the darkness, spread out high to low, and you see the first one runs through the darkness past you. The next one sort of runs and just sort of dissipates, sort of like a dye in water, and the light goes away. And the third one, that's the tallest one, streaks through just like the first one, then just abruptly is gone. It's
As
just darkened.
soon as I see the third one, can I shoot the frog at where it started? Like as soon as I see it light up.
You can certainly try. We're going to, we'll call it a look around first. You tell me what traits you're applying to it. You'll just need to get a success to sort of catch quick enough where you want to throw this poor unfortunate frog.
Wadsworth is a undead mole, and they're usually already kind of blind and reacting to things. So I'm trying to use Wadsworth's innate kind of sense of looking around to assist me with my own ability, and I am going to be sort of sensing and feeling magic since I'm familiar with necromancy, and I'm a dabbler to try and like be alert to the magic so that I can when I see these weird streaking effects and the darkness, I'm kind of assuming it's some similar to the magic that I have dabbled in, and trying to use that to sort of anticipate feel the weave and the energy because of all the glowing mushrooms.
Okay, so what I'm going to do there is essentially your link with Wadsworth. The way Wadsworth senses in the dark is actually vibrations. So your link with Wadsworth will allow you to use your necromantic magic as a trait to look around for this. So
Okay.
you'll have that one trait.
That's a 5.
And that's good enough. You, based on where they streak by you and sort of the angle, you have no idea how far out it is, but you get an idea as to the direction you should lob your frog bomb.
Frog blast! And I'm going to charge it with magical energy so it will latch on and hop around until it latches onto something and explodes as I fire it into the distance.
Okay. All right. So just roll a straight d6. Let's see how well your attack goes just in general.
A
How
4.
well your do harm does. A 4. Okay. So what you get is poor Hopper releases from your crossbow. You stagger a little bit because there's a lot of power being released in this thing, and you actually haven't really shot it before. He does croak off into the darkness. Unhappy, mouthful of oil, and you hear a splash and a crash, and there is a brief orange sort of light that filters through the fog before it looks like fire through mist, like what you would expect. It's a dark mist. You see orange light up where there was a fire, but then to everybody sees it briefly. It actually looks like the mist sort of reaches in to swallow it up and make it dark again. You do hear the fire sort of erupt from about 3 different directions as the echoes play with your sense of direction and your hearing. And you do hear, not screaming, but you do hear some excitement and yelling and what sounds like barking and yipping to you because you don't understand the language, but it sounds like one of the adventurers probably yelling things that you don't understand. Is responding to the light or perhaps the fire as well. Not like they were caught on fire, but they definitely seem alarmed.
Mm.
So I think Yarp. I think for Yarp, I'm gonna activate my second use of Mastermind to reach into my bag. We're gonna the flashback is packing things, and again the thing that he's packed and it's sunk to the bottom of the bag. He pulls out a rudimentary compass.
Okay. Do you get to use Mastermind more than once per game? I thought the wording was once per game.
Twice per session.
Okay.
The
Just check.
second. Nope, you're good. And so with that compass, I'm going to try and look around, find north, and just kind of get my bearings.
Yeah. You can get north. You know that you're facing north, and right now that doesn't mean anything, but with your compass, you are facing north. And it does seem to be working.
I'm just going to oh my goodness. Look over at Nax and just we should go north, and then we find a wall, and then our friends can find us.
Lead the way, Yarp.
I'm just gonna head in the direction of north.
I'm going to try and make friends with the darkness and see if it will help us.
But maybe this could work.
Okay. There is one thing that you notice. You're walking, and when you get those moments of vertigo, the direction of north changes on your compass.
Interesting. I think the first time it happens, I just like shift and change and go north.
Okay. So you're going to keep following the needle north?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. What are Chomper and Godo doing?
Our goal was to get the adventurers, and there's signs of adventures that way. And our friends are alive. How about we go towards the adventurers?
I think you
Where do we
muted,
find the
James.
wall?
Sorry about that. Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
All right.
So you guys head toward what?
Where the
Of the things you just saw.
We're heading straight for him, right?
Okay. Are you just like double timing it toward where the eruption of orange light was? Okay. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and make a look around check, and I'm going to give it to Godo. And because you're responding as quick as you are, I'm going to let you use Reckless to apply to the roll. Because you're essentially just, there's something to chase, get it.
That's a 4.
Okay. Game Master chooses the question. All right. So the two of you run through, and you do see a spot where on the floor of wherever you are, there is this 3 foot wide by about 5 foot long sort of stretch of fire that Smells a bit like burning pond water and frog. Um, and on the other side of it, staring at you, staring at it, and then as you come out of the darkness and he becomes visible to you and you become visible to him, is a tall human wearing just a sort of a puffy shirt and an odd shaped hat. He's got these weird pointed shoes on and is carrying a short stick. And he is as surprised as you guys are. You guys see him in the firelight because the fire is burning. It's just a short stretch between you guys. But you see him in the firelight, he sees you in the firelight, and as you guys sort of react to his presence, he reacts to yours. And what he does is sort of clutch that stick he's got really hard. And then we would go into initiative if there's something you're going to do. And I think you're muted again, James.
It's time to get violent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, alternating, who wants to go first?
I feel like Jumper, having declared this, should go first.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to what I got. Nobody harms my family is a talent. I've got my sword. Protect the pack, or protective is.
We'll give you that because you've got somebody there. You've got Godo there. And you muted again.
What am I rolling?
You've got the sword and your 2 traits. What else do you have? Because you went mute again.
Let's see. So I got the talent is nobody harms my family. Tool is my sword. Motivations protect the pack, and my perk is protective. But that's like, that's a thing I do? Like if someone was attacking Godo, I could use the perk, right?
Yes, and I believe that lets you take harm instead of them.
Correct. So I guess I got 3.
You've got 3. Yep.
All right. Two 6s and a 4.
Okay, so you got a 6, which means you get to pick 2 things on the chart. Forget violent. It's either you don't take harm, you deal harm, you move them, or you take something from them.
Then I want to deal harm, and then I want to take that wand.
Okay. So you basically just leap right over the fire and go right at him faster than he's expecting. You get a cut in on his leg, and it staggers him a little bit. You do see him getting ready to poke you with this stick, you presume, and you grab that wand. You do take 1 point of harm from it hurting you. That's his counterattack. That's the price for attacking him. So you take a point of harm, make sure that that's not fatal, and you do. You have the wand, and you've inflicted 1 point of harm to him.
I got to roll, right?
Yeah. Just roll higher than the total harm you have right now.
Five.
And you haven't taken 5 harm, so I'm sure you're fine. All right. And Frosty, you get +1 to your highest die roll for the next look around you do. James is still spending points. Thank you for helping out with that, James. Helping us test that. Okay, so it looks like he was getting ready to use that. And what he does is cause the fire. You see him raise his hands, and the fire rages and flares really brightly. And both of you need to make an avoid danger check or take 2 harm. So what are you doing? What's going to help you avoid danger?
I'm going to do a matrix dodge, being sneaky and all that.
Okay, so that's the one trait. So give it a roll.
Alright. I'm sure nothing could possibly go wrong with this.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. It's a 2.
Okay. All right. So you do take 2 harm. So add that to your total and see if it's fatal. Basically, it flares up right as you, I assume, are coming across it to attack him.
So that's another 2.
Okay. Spend another point of zeal and you're still alive. That's what it's for.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, so then it's your turn. You're coming across to attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the timing was just such that it flared up and got really hot right as you went over it. How did you do, Chomper?
Can I use my protect the pack if I'm not worried about diving out of the way, but diving just to try to protect my teammate here?
Let's see how you do getting out of the way first. So what are you doing to avoid the damage for yourself?
I'm just gonna hit the deck. I'm just gonna dive to the ground.
Okay. And what traits are you using to assist you with that? Anything? Do you have anything that'll work?
Well, like I said, I was thinking of more of the protect thing, like he'd be diving to try to protect her, but if it doesn't really work in that way, I don't think I really have anything.
Okay. So that's not going to help protect you. You can still do that as an action and take that damage instead of Godo, but that's going to be a separate thing. It's not going to help you prevent the damage for yourself.
Right, but if I use that, then I can absorb the 2 that she just got, but then I might actually get some more damage on top of that, is what you're saying, right?
Yes, so we're going to handle them as 2 separate rolls. So go ahead and roll and see if you get your 4, 5, or 6 to avoid damage.
Nope. I got a 2.
Okay, so then you take 2 points of harm, and we won't double up on the roll. You have that protective trait. You can still take the damage for Godo instead if you want, but that would mean you're taking 4.
Yeah, and I've already got 2, so that would put me at 6, right?
Yep, which means every point of damage you take, you need a zeal or you're dead.
I don't think it's worth it.
I gotta do it. It's in my nature. I gotta protect you. I'm taking it.
Okay. All right, so put your point of zeal back. You don't take the 2 damage, Godo. And yeah, you see the fire flares up right as you come across, and you see it burns Chomper, and Chomper basically just grabs you out of the air and turns and shields you from it, and the fire just rakes up across his back. So that puts you already have 2, so that would put you at 6, right?
Correct.
Okay, so there's no roll on a d6 that will be over 6, so you'll need to spend a point of zeal or you're dead.
Alrighty.
Okay, so you are at 6 harm, which means you don't need to track it anymore, really. That doesn't interfere with what you're doing. It is still your turn, Godo. That was resolving the magicians, and they're yelling and barking, and they sound terribly, terribly excited. Not in a good way, but it is your action. What are you doing?
I'm going to whip out my boomerang, and I'm going to throw it into the darkness in the general direction of said adventurers.
Okay, he's right in front of you. You can melee him. That was the point of you coming across the fire.
Yes, that is true. I don't know what I was thinking. I am going to pull out my dagger then, and I am just going to stab him.
Okay. So roll to get violent. What traits do you have? You've got the dagger.
Yep.
You got reckless. I'll give you that.
Okay. And then, I mean, again, this is in defense of the village. Now that we are here,
What's your actual
Maybe.
trait called?
Motivation, keep the village safe.
I'll give you that. That's 3.
Right. Give me a proper roll, please. Nice. 6.
6. All right. So that means you get to pick 2 things off the chart. You can either not take any harm yourself, you can deal harm to them, you can move them or push them, or you can, like make them get out of the way, or you can take something from them. They're not holding anything anymore, but that doesn't limit that action. You get to pick 2 of those.
I am going to do harm to them, and I am not going to take harm.
Okay. So, yeah, you step up and you stab them. They try to defend themselves, and what you end up doing is actually stabbing them through what you presume is their offhand. You get their left hand, and their right hand crackles with electricity, and they try to grab you with it, but you see it just in time, and you get out of the way, and it looks like they're reeling more from being hurt than focusing on getting you. So you don't take any harm, and you do inflict another point of damage to them. Which would put us, we'll go ahead and just resolve this. So we're back at the top of the order. You guys can hear some commotion happening, yelling and screaming, and you guys do see that orange light flare up really brightly again. And again, it seems almost like the darkness deliberately moves to smother it. But you guys, it's your turn. And again, you guys can decide who goes first and who does what.
I'd like to try something that'll help Yarp out. If that's cool with you, Yarp.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I am going to reach into my bag and pull out George the Lizard. I've used him before, he's my focus. And I am going to wave it around and say, Umo goi goi fighties out, Umo goi goi fighties out. And I am going to focus and call out to the darkness, we are friends! I also embrace the dark. Night is our ally, and you are like a warm blanket. Let us snuggle and form a united mantle of dark. And try and use my making friends, my bag of dead things, and necromancy to conjure all the darkness into a dark mantle of the shadows around me. And I'm going to spend a zeal.
Okay. All right. Let me wrap up the combat with them real quick. Okay. So, which of the 2 of you want to go first? Godo or Chomper?
Right up in their grill right now. So I could just keep with the stabbing.
I'm still feeling protective. I'm definitely going in to try to finish him off.
Okay. So, who wants to go first?
He's feeling protective, so
Okay.
sure.
I
Roll your
got
dice,
this.
Jumper.
And it's 3D. It's 3, right?
Yeah, it's the same as you had last time. Yep.
Five.
Okay. So you get to pick one thing. Do harm, not take harm, reposition them, or take something.
Doing harm.
Okay. You come in and you see what they're trying to do with Godo. They pull away from Godo and they're holding their hand, and they try to get a little distance from Godo because Godo just stabbed them. You move up on them quickly, and you do stab them through the stomach. And their last move is basically to take. They're cradling their hand, and they hook their thumbs and do this with their hands, and you see a bunch of fire again. So you take another point of harm, you inflict a point of harm. So you'll need to spend a point of zeal to not die. But you, as soon as you stab this guy, the flames that they're sort of fanning out in front of them sort of flicker and die out. And they just sort of quickly fall to their knees and fall over.
That puts me at 3 zeal now.
Okay. And hurting pretty bad, but you're okay for now. And what did you roll? You rolled your 6. Okay, so you hear Naz shouting in the darkness, and you
I'm going to give the darkness a hug.
There's sort of a visible pulse to the darkness, and all of the swirling stops. Everything goes still, and you hear in a just this deep reverberating voice through this dark mist in a language you understand. You understand the communication. And what do you seek?
We seek to rid the adventurers from our home, them from ever us. We seek the protection of our tribe, and I seek the understanding of greater things and all of death and the other side. Together, these two goals should unite to accomplish each other, and all things can be recycled.
Coalesce and swirl a bit, and dart at Naz and Yarp. You see this just gnarly, long-fingered, shadowy hand just grab Nas by the muzzle, and Nas, for a moment, you're being sort of stifled. You hear some yelling and barking in the darkness that you can't understand from an adventurer or somebody else speaking a language you can't understand. And the darkness pulses again. And the voice comes one more time and says, "What is it that you want?" And you feel the hand clench on your muzzle. And there's more barking in the other language that you don't understand, and the darkness sort of pulls away from you a little bit. You can see the ground a little bit further from you, and then swirls and coalesces off into one direction. You see it the best because you're standing right there, Yarp. Your muzzle gets released, Naz, and this bony hand that's been holding your muzzle sort of slides down and becomes a necklace that's a little tight but not uncomfortable. And you see the shadows that you called for swirl and drape around you, leaving you looking like some just shadowy roguish figure with wide shoulders and a cowl and a long cape. And it drapes over Wadsworth, forming what looks like mole barding, protective barding. And the darkness comes out of the room, and you can see about 25 feet off to one side is a large, you're presuming human, maybe something bigger, wearing bits and pieces of armor, but largely just showing off their physique and holding a huge axe that has a blade on each side of the head. Looking at you guys, then turns quickly to look to the other side of the room, and you all notice that the room heads to a dais that steps up once, and then there's a stone chair carved out of all of this same stone. Running down the arms of the chair and to the floor is some kind of stone inset that's a lighter color, maybe a sandstone, not quite an ivory, but it's the only thing that stands out from the gray of everything else. And there is a ancient, rotted human corpse sitting there with a crown cocked slightly on its head, and it just looks like somebody died decades, if not hundreds of years ago, in this, what looks like it would have been an ornate seat or a throne, with a scepter across their lap. And you can see that the human barbarian is sort of torn as to where his attention should be until the figure in the throne sits up and leans forward, and then his attention is fully on the skeleton in the throne. You hear again in that voice that you can understand, "You would come and take things that do not belong to you. You would take from those who earned." And shadows rip up from the ground and hold, not painfully, but hold the barbarian. You can see him straining against it. And it turns its face and looks at you, Naz.
My
You,
friend!
stealer of my shadows and magic. What is it you came here for?
I came to make friends. Obviously. We came to get rid of these adventurers from where we've been making our home. And scare
You do
them
not
away.
seek things that are not yours. You do not wish to steal and take what is mine.
Not at all! We simply seek to be friends!
Intrude
So is
upon
not
my
friendship
lands.
all of ours?
You intrude upon this sacred ground of mine with a sword and a dagger and a duck on fire, and claim to be friends.
Well,
That was to get rid of the other guys that were already on your land. Really, we were already helping. See, we didn't even know we were friends, and it was just there.
Okay.
do you feel this
Give
connection?
me a talk it over roll, Naz, and tell me what you're using.
I'm a necromancer,
Making
so
friends.
obviously I know how to talk to skeletons. And the shadow cloak shows that his magic already likes me, and I want to make friends.
Is there a way I can use that cunning ploy to help him? That gift that was one of the people in the channel gave us earlier.
Well, what kind of ploy do you want to? What do you want to do? Cunning ploy creates an advantage for somebody to do something else. So you know Naz is doing this negotiation. What do you want to do that would assist him or making his point?
Well, it seems like the dead guy doesn't like the human guys, and I just risked my life to kill this human guy who was coming to steal your stuff. So doesn't that make us friends? Like he's saying?
Well, okay, so you're going to try to assist his point then.
Yeah, I'm just trying to help him make the point. Like, yeah, look, I just killed this guy. He was here to take from you, and I just killed him, sacrificing my own life. Look at me, I'm dying here.
You
All
know,
right, and you automatically get a 6 on that, right? That's what
Yeah, I
was
think
it?
I get a 6 on the effort.
Okay.
it's
All
universal
right.
rule of fuck that guy.
Okay. All right. So James, you can thank James for that.
Thank you, James.
So
Thank you, James.
yes, we'll call it plausibility. So for the sake of this conversation, you have plausibility that you're here fighting the adventurers, not necessarily here raiding the place yourself. So between plausibility and make friends, you get 2 dice on the talk it over roll.
Necromancy doesn't help me talk to skeleton.
Well, you're already communicating with him.
All right. Fair enough. I don't want to look.
Hydrate has been redeemed.
We all need to
Alright.
hydrate.
2 6s.
Oh, bars.
That's awesome.
All right, mythical family. Oh, I'm making myself drink. What's going on there? That's the wife. She's lurking.
That was awesome.
Okay, hydrate. All right. Okay, so you make your point that you're just there to make friends. You're not there for anybody else. He raises his hand, and there's a magic that goes out that everything that has been picked up since you guys got here, everything from this place is pulled from your inventory and hits the floor, which is just basically a rusty piece of metal and a couple of cogs that Yarp had from one of the traps. You guys haven't really picked up or taken anything else.
I took some
That's
dead
just-
animal bits.
That's not really part of the place here, so and it's just a couple of pieces of scrap. But you see from the satchel that the barbarian is carrying, there are gems and 2 or 3 dozen pieces of coin that spill out and hit the ground, and there is a large copper sort of heart-shaped piece of, it's not a jewelry or a brooch or anything, it's just looks like something that would have been a knickknack that hits the floor. And you guys feel it's almost like there's magic sort of doing a pat down and searching your pockets. And the only thing from any of you guys that gets turned out are a couple of pieces of scrap from a trap, and you guys are kobolds. The gaze of the skeleton in the chair turns and just zeroes right in on the barbarian. And telekinetically, just like with Mage Hand, he picks up the copper heart and brings it to him, and he holds it. And he pontificates in the quiet for a little bit. The barbarian yells a few things that you can't understand. And while he's looking at this heart in his hand, he just sort of clenches his fist, and you can hear the barbarian just sort of start to choke, just enough to make him quiet. And he says, "Of all things that you could have taken from me, you take this. Most other things might be forgiven if I were the forgiving type. But not this." And you see he just extends his fingers, and the black shadowy tendrils that are holding the barbarian in place just sort of start to dig into him and just sort of grotesquely tear him apart as he yells and screams and drops his axe and whatnot. And when his body hits the ground, the shadowy tendrils just sort of scurry across the ground, dragging him off into the shadows, and more tendrils pull up and get the other guy and drag him into the shadows. And he leans back in his chair and looks at the little copper heart in his hand, and then looks back at the rest of you. "What should we do with the likes of you, however? You haven't taken anything of value from me. You didn't come here to invade my sanctity.
I have an
Why
idea.
Should I let you go?"
I don't really think it's a letting go sort of situation. I see this as mutually beneficial. We have a whole tribe. We've survived here a long time and never taken anything. And you've been here for a long time, so it kind of makes us neighbors. We could unite and join forces. And you obviously need a representative. I myself have dabbled in necromancy, and you've seen the capability of my friends. They killed the other magic caster very easily, and this one and Yarp and Godo, they managed to evade your traps and could help make them better. So with all of us working together, perhaps we'd be even better off. Imagine the things that we could accomplish together.
Also, you could come over for barbecue, and I just squeeze the.
We have many
decorator.
ducks. Recycling them is not going so well, but we have many ducks.
Chomper starts walking sheepishly up to him, and he says, "For what it's worth, as a sign, a token of my admiration for you, considering letting us live and all, I got this off the other guy, and I want to give it to you as a gift. You said people are always taking stuff from you, so I'm going to give you something, and I'm going to give him the wand."
The wand? Okay. Yeah, he actually he reaches down and with his bony skeletal hand takes it from you and looks at it. And you can see he looks and he's looking at you. He doesn't have any expressions or anything. He's just a skeleton, and assessing you. Neighbors tend to be bothersome. Neighbors want things and make noise. I don't like either.
But have you heard us in the last couple decades or so? Like, I think we're pretty quiet. We just, we keep our ducks, we keep our fungi. We could. It's like we're not even there.
You, with the flaming duck, what were you doing with those pieces? Why would you have them?
Well, at first I took them because I thought they may help me killing these adventurers. But I can go put them back and fix your trap.
He assesses you guys all quietly for a moment, and then you just sort of hear this kind of I don't need friends at my age. And you see he snaps the wand, and sort of this magic just sort of runs down his hand like the magic is bleeding from the wand. And he opens his hand, and there's a flash of light that splashes across Chomper, and it heals 1 point of harm to you. So you're at 5, not 6.
Gonna scratch
He
into
says-
the femur bone, like breaking magic restores flesh.
Do not return to me unless there is trouble to this mountain, trouble to me, trouble that I would care about. I don't care about your troubles. Do you understand?
Yeah. But what about
Absolutely.
the barbecue?
Let us know if people come to take your shit. Got it.
If you tell no one, especially people like what we had here, about my presence, then you can live your lives. Know that I'm here, but do not bother me.
So absolute no on the barbecue. Got it.
Yeah, I think that's a hard pass.
Unfortunately, we have good barbecues.
I am past the sustenance that is obtained from ducks, little one, but thank you.
I mean,
But
we
you
also
put them
have.
in a little wrapper.
Mhm. And we've got fungus meat. So you had fungus meat. It's very good.
He looks again at the copper heart that's in his hand, and he holds it. And you see he just brings his hand up and clenches it into a fist, and you see the gems and the coins and the axe of the barbarian sort of just pull into a pile. And he says, "Take what is there and go. Do not come back unless it is something that concerns me. We are not neighbors, but we can exist together."
Before we go, Your Magnificence, might I approach to inquire as a possibly mutual beneficial arrangement?
What sort of arrangement are you seeking, little?
Well, I've always wished to advance my abilities, and I've never been very welcome here. I'm sure you understand someone with talents, nowhere near as magnificent as yours, but some meager, not really welcome amongst the usual the tribe and stuff like that. So perhaps you could use a minion. I'm used to being a minion. I kind of serve where the tribe tells me to, anyways, and the duck recycling thing isn't going very well, but you could use a minion to promote your agenda, and I could use that time to study under one as magnificent as yourself.
Making friends is a difficult talent. There isn't anything to do here. I don't need a minion. But, and he just makes a gesture with his hands, and all of the shadow stuff falls off of you, except for what looks like a little imp made of shadow. And it's small, even, it looks like an imp on a human shoulder. On you, it says, there is knowledge you can learn from the shadows, and that you can have if you can master it.
Thank you, Great One.
Please go.
Yep, we should go, everyone. We should go.
Chomper bows respectfully and just backs out of the room.
Just walk up to that pile, just start scooping as much of it as I can
Yep.
into my backpack.
Likewise, into the bag of dead things.
He lets you guys collect that stuff. The axe is incredibly heavy, and Chomper's in no shape to carry it. But if you guys want the axe, somebody will have to drag that, or you'll have to tie it to Wadsworth.
Just tie it to Wadsworth, let him drag it.
I got some twine. I got some twine, I got some wire. Wadsworth's got it.
That's a lot of metal. You could melt that down and make all kinds of cool stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and as you guys leave, you see the doors swing shut to the room, and you see the metal, or not the metal, the stone of the doors heat and melt together so that it looks like it's one solid door where it used to open in the middle. And there is down low on the side, we'll do it, why not? In your kobold tongue, so you can read it, is it sinks into the stone, it's etched into the stone magically. The phrase, speak friend and enter. But it's in a language you guys can read.
Oh.
Nice.
This warms my heart.
Let's get out of here while we still can.
My lich buddy. Lich buddy. Yeah, you guys leave. You guys don't kill yourselves on the traps on the way out. It's going to be tough getting Wadsworth back down the hole.
And we'll manage. We've got time.
Just push and say Wadsworth had a really good run.
Yeah. Just push him in.
Whoop-bump. Okay. Yeah, he's broken up a little bit, but he'll be okay. You guys get down the rope. Again, you probably have to put Chomper down the same way you got Chomper up. This rope climbing thing is pretty easy, actually, Chomper, you find out. Especially when other people are doing it for you.
Right.
But, yeah. You don't want to risk him falling, so you guys lower him down, and then you guys climb down. Fizzbib is there and grumpy and sour, and did you get it done? We're not gonna have any more trouble.
No, but we've actually got to keep things down. It's kind of complicated.
It's complicated.
How should we explain it? We made a friend.
I don't want you to explain it.
Yes,
That's
then
detail.
everything is taken care of.
Good.
And
Village
got
is waiting.
Stuff.
Stuff.
I need a medic.
He hits you with some balm made from the fungus that is essentially just, it takes the pain away. It'll take a while to heal, but you'll be okay, and you're going to have some impressive scars.
No one
You
ever
took
lets
a lot
me
of damage
fix
from that fire.
Nice.
But yeah, Fizbib basically just he's happy with the no, we're not going to have any more trouble. It's like good, go. You guys know how to navigate. You guys get back to the village, and you're ushered straight to the elders' tents, and yeah, the eldest of the elders is sitting on his stack of pelts, so he can sit up taller than anybody stands. And oh, good, back already. Oh, what fight? Any more trouble?
Dump out a pile of gold.
He's completely happy with the shinies. Yeah, you guys regale the story a little bit. You can tell that the assistant elders, the sort of seers and other part of the royal court, the other 3 or 4 people sort of sitting to his side, are more interested in what's going on because it does affect your safety. Once you guys actually sort of spill out the gems and gold and coins, the actual eldest of the elder, the tribal elder, is lost in counting, and you can tell he's sort of giddy to the point to where he's trying not to just sort of nervously giggle and be happy. He does reluctantly shell out some to you guys, but you know most of it should be for the tribe. For tribe, you know, it is for tribe. It's for best. But you guys do get your shinies. You get about 5 shinies worth of spending power, and yeah, it's you guys are at this point the new heroes, which of the tribe, much to what would have been much to Zip's chagrin, because now you guys have all been outside too, and you brought back stuff to prove what you found. So you'll be at odds with Zip for a little bit, but Zip doesn't like to make enemies, so you'll be fine.
He can always come to rock, paper, scissors.
Right.
But yeah, so your happy little fungus farming tribe of kobolds has survived the adventure incursion and discovered a new neighbor.
Barely survived.
And you made a duck flamethrower. So.
Right.
Listen, I think as the epilogue rolls, there's like some sketches of Yarp and his cave, his like little hut, and on one of the cave walls, he's just drawing some plans for an improved Wadsworth. That is, a necromantically fueled, armored, flame throwing mole.
I'm kind of interested to see. When I got the wand, what I was thinking about doing was, since the viewer had given us that automatic 6 on a cunning ploy, I wanted to just start waving the wand at the mage so they could think I knew how to use it. But I was like, I don't think my kobold even knows that it's a magic stick, so I didn't know. I wasn't sure what I could do with that. So that was my first idea to use it. But I'm glad I waited so that we hopefully got out of the chamber with the undead dude in a little better shape than before we would have otherwise.
Yeah, I had no idea that. I was trying to get creative with getting rid of the darkness. Had no idea it was going to go with making friends with the darkness, but
yeah, and the magic with Dabbler, when you spend a point of zeal, the spells are actually really powerful. So, and they should be, because zeal is a really tight resource. So, this is a fun little system. It's I don't know. We might revisit this at some point when we have a one-shot night, or a couple of weeks when there's some downtime between a game, or somebody has to go somewhere, so we can't run our usual. It might be fun to actually do it the way it's supposed to be as well, and actually sort of lay out a dungeon and let you guys make differing types of creatures. I dictated that everybody was a member of the Kobold tribe this time, but somebody playing an ogre, somebody playing a gelatinous cube, somebody playing a Remor has or Umber Hulk or whatnot.
I was trying to get us an Overlord.
I kind of sensed that. That's what I thought maybe this was transitioning to, that we became the minions into his dungeon, and that was our job, was to like basically keep everybody out, so he didn't have to worry about it anymore.
Well, if we ever come back to this, then we can maybe take that angle and see how it goes. And we'll actually make a dungeon for you guys to move into, and then you'll have to defend it from adventurers. And Yarp will have to fix all those traps that have gotten dilapidated, and figure out how to mount ducks in walls and stuff like that. But yeah, we can do that.
And I will be his mage slayer.
A pit with the quacking in it.
Right?
This has been a fun little game. I hope everybody's had fun. That's rotated in and out. It's was meant to embrace everybody's silliness and creativeness, and I hope everybody had fun with it. I saw this and wanted to try it right away. The 6 moves, and it's sort of limiting you to those. I'm kind of hit and miss on system-wise. It does feel like it hems you in a little bit, but I like how, even though it ropes you in a little bit, at least it steers you in the right direction. Like, okay, you want to see what's around. How are you doing that? Tell me in character how what your traits and what your abilities are that you're using,
right,
that make it successful. And I kind of like that. I don't know, I'd have to shake it out a couple more times, I think. But
well, it's got kind of a Powered by the Apocalypse feel too to it. Like, so I think you could probably lift some moves out of like Dungeon World and games like that you could incorporate if you wanted to beef this up a little bit and get, for a few more options and stuff.
Yeah, or take this premise and do a full Powered by the Apocalypse or Dungeon World type thing, and just make this the premise. This was I had fun with this, and I hope you guys.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of it. It was a blast.
Samesies.
It was nice meeting everyone and gaming with everyone.
Yeah, good meeting.
And I do think the term malicious repurposing is one I'm going to carry with me.
I do like that term.
I enjoy that a lot. Anything is dangerous if you do it right.
Right.
Correct.
Right on.
Alrighty, so let me see. I may have to figure out how to. I've got some channel points to refund to James because Frosty never got to use that look around bonus. I think everything else got used. So I'll figure out how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and switch us over. Do we have anybody that we know? Yeah, we're going to raid Nitty again. All right, so anybody that's still here, thank you for watching. We are Mythical Family. We do gaming and streaming and all things geeky. For the most part, our streaming right now revolves around tabletop role-playing games, both in person and remote, like we did tonight. And tabletop gaming. We have a game called Gaslands, which is a tabletop war game that's Mad Max style, that we are attempting to make regular content. We have one of our members does painting streams, which are designed to be sort of ease into tutorials more than just watching somebody paint, and telling you his tips and tricks and stuff that he likes to do, his input and advice from his years of painting. That's our buddy Zappa. And there will be other content that we add as we go. There will be some content up from the board gaming convention that we're going to in a few weeks. Last year when we were there, we could not stream because the venue is essentially a bomb shelter. So it acts like a Faraday cage, nothing in, nothing out, that's not wearing sneakers. So we may or may not get to stream from there, but we will have content up on our YouTube. We do archive all of our video on demands to YouTube. We stream every week at least once, and we have our Discord. You can join us there. We just like to promote a safe space for everybody that wants to be nerdy and enjoy their fandoms and enjoy whatever it is that's geeky and brings joy to their hearts in an environment where they can find other people that are just happy for people to be geeky and enjoy the things that bring joy to their hearts. It doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. What we're here for is to support each other, have a safe spot, and support the love of the geeky things that we all love to do. I am going to raid another channel. It is a video game streamer that's a friend to the channel. His name is Nitskull. If you stay for the raid, please throw up some emotes. Let him know that Mythical Family sent you. Give him a few minutes to entertain you. He usually plays games like Mortician's Assistant and Dead by Daylight, sort of creepy games, and is incredibly funny to watch get startled. He's got a really good community over there, and we like the guy quite a bit. So let him know that Mythical Family sent you. I'm going to wander off camera and start the raid. And switch us over to ending soon. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have a good night.